Thanks for joining us. Today is Wednesday, November 5th, 2025. It's 5:30 p.m. and this is a regularly scheduled meeting of the Marquette Township Board. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, if you'll join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please, Randy.
Trustee Winslow,
That's it.
Trustee Kidda,
Here.
Trustee Leighton,
Here.
Trustee Everson, Treasurer Rickauer,
Here.
Clerk Rattari is here, and Supervisor Durant.
Here.
Staff present is Manager Kangas and our Attorney Roger Zappa and our Finance Director Kim Clark. No committee members are here.
Okay, thank you, Randy. Does anybody wish to address the board before we get started? No? Okay. And we can get into the consent agenda, which tonight includes approval of regular meeting minutes of October 15th, 2025, and budget work session minutes of October 28th and 29th. We have bills payable in the amount of $203,484.67. And consider 2025 bills payable approval list. No other committee reports. I did include the Marquette County Solid Waste Management Authority packet from the 15th of October. And the Board of Trustees from the Public Library Board meeting minutes of October 21st, their draft.
I move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay,
I move to approve tonight's agenda.
well, we're gonna take off, it looks like the library report. Looks like Paul's not here, and Christopher had an emergency, so he's not here for his report. So if you wanna do it
Just
amended,
amended with letter B, annual report from Marquette County Sheriff.
okay? You have a second?
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Boy, we can just jump right into the sheriff then.
All right, we'll do that. And I brought my mini-me with me. If you will do the contract information for you.
Okay.
You want to come up and start with that, and that'll give me more time to talk.
Good evening. I'm Lieutenant Gill with the Road Patrol for the Marquette County Sheriff's Office. I present tonight our 2026 contract for police services for the Charter Township of Marquette County. It's a standard contract, nothing more, nothing less than what you guys have provided in the past. The only difference would be that our current contract rate for townships is $63.32. So that is going to be the only difference in this contract. I also wanted to explain a little bit, because I know sometimes it can be a little confusing, or questions around where that number comes up from. I do have a little breakdown for you, if you don't mind me approaching and handing out.
Great. That's good for the public too. I was gonna say that it's more than just regular wages.
As much as I would love to be paid $63.32 an hour, I am not paid $63.32 an hour.
That's saved for Greg, right?
Yeah, he collects the other.
Watch it.
So these numbers are broken down by the county accounting department. Where that 6332 number comes into place is it includes the retirement, FICA, Medicare, health insurance, the retiree health savings account, life insurance, disability, workman's comp. All of that is built into this, including overtime. So no matter how much that deputy for the township works, you're getting billed the exact same amount. That is important to point out because you guys probably have not noticed any disruption in services since September. Your Marquette Township deputy assigned to the position in September suffered an injury and has not been able to work. One of the benefits about contracting with us is that we were able to fill that position with other deputies so that you guys did not see any disruption in services. Whereas if you had your own department, you would not be able to backfill that, and you guys would have to go without law enforcement services for that position. So that's one of the great benefits of contracting with the sheriff's office, is that we do have the staff and the ability to backfill when there is an injury or an illness or something critical in the family that that deputy or that officer would have to take time off of work. The other benefit of contracting with us is that you have the benefit of our front office staff. I could tell you, starting in 2025, MCOLS, which is the governing body of law enforcement here in the state of Michigan, has increased in reporting and requirements for law enforcement officers, which is a fairly big strain on front office staff. So that contract rate also kind of builds in the office employees that are able to comply with those standards and make sure that everything is up to requirements for MCOLS. So yes, I understand that 6332, a lot of people would think that you guys are paying a deputy and we're making 6332, but it is far from that. Really, as far as contract goes, like I said, this is a standard contract that is nothing more, nothing less than what you guys have signed previously.
This does include, though, your equipment and your training and
Correct.
Uniforms and all the things that we would have to supply if we had someone on staff.
Yes.
here.
So
It's even more comprehensive.
they purchased the vehicle. Yep.
Yeah.
So, for instance, the pair of pants that I am wearing right now usually runs about $200 per pair. When it comes to police gear, it gets pretty expensive. One bulletproof vest is about $1,500. Ammunition, guns, the equipment in the car, you're talking probably about $20,000 to $25,000 just in equipment in the car. That's not including an AED, that's $5,000. Safety equipment that's required for our jobs. It is very expensive to run a police department. So this rate of $63.32 per hour, as other townships have found, is a significant cost savings than operating your own police department. And going with that training, MCOLS instituted in 2024 pretty significant increase in training requirements. So a lot of time has to be spent on training, required trainings that vary from year to year. And again, when we have that required training, you guys don't see the disruption in services because we're able to backfill your guys' position so that when somebody calls, there's somebody there to answer.
Any questions? Perhaps? Okay, anything to add, John?
No, the only other thing is, per the communication I've already had with the lieutenant, we are planning on replacing that Tahoe next year on schedule so that we can get one into our fleet and get our staff the ability to travel to almost all parts of the township that have at least a 2-track. So,
And that
as you know,
Tahoe,
the Charger just does not have clearance.
that Tahoe has hit pretty much every part of the township, so without issue. So it's a good vehicle, and replacing it on schedule, it's going to be in pretty good condition for the next department to be able to use.
Any questions for the lieutenant? So we'll have the contract next meeting, probably to sign, or?
Probably, I would say. I mean, especially if the only change is the hourly rate. I don't anticipate there being much delay in the review and turning that around.
Great. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Alex. Sit there and you say I have questions I can't answer.
As he said, you know, I'm on the MCOLS board, and we're starting to see more and more smaller departments go away because of the cost of the, MCOLS is requesting more and more reports and just documents, and it's a full-time thing, doing the backgrounds now for officers and just signing an officer up. And if you have a 2 or 3 man department, that it's almost a full-time gig. So I think the day of the smaller departments is going to go away sooner than later. I have put together, in no rhyme or reason really, as far as it's just new information about things going on at the Marquette County Sheriff's Office in the last year. Some new equipment that we've got. We're still actively always looking for grants, equipments, specifically free from the federal government or wherever we can. We're always looking, and some of the things we've been able to get, a lot of it through the what's called the Stone Garden grant, and that's because of the fact that we are on with Lake Superior, a border, and the feds give us quite a bit of money, and over the years we've purchased millions of dollars in equipment over time. How long has this been going on, Stone Garden? Before I was here?
Yes, it's I would say early 2010s, if not earlier than that.
I think the last time I had a few of the things, the drones and the underwater drone, and we've added to that. We've purchased a sonar for the underwater drone. This will increase our capacity for underwater detection. Currently, the one we have uses cameras, and deputies rely on a line of sight underwater, where with this sonar, it will help see what's in front of you farther. We've recently purchased ballistic helmets that will aid in high-risk warrant services. People that we know are very dangerous, has weapons and that type of thing. And I want to start getting some riot equipment and updating what we have, which is next to nothing. And because of the times and what's been going on, I think it's important that we start getting ready for anything and anything going on in the near future. Let's see, we've upgraded car equipment, laptops in the car with laptop printers. Laptops allow deputies, they continue to work when they have to sit in the hospital or looking over prisoners and that type of thing. Printers in the car allow them to complete search warrants on the road. Previously, when a search warrant had to be completed, deputies had to return to the office, which caused a lot of delays. So this expedites our ability to get search warrants online with judges or magistrates. We've upgraded lights as we continue replacing our fleet. We've been upgrading the lights so that there's a better coverage for the vehicles. Additionally, these new lights, they sync up when one car gets there, they sync up with the other cars so that the vehicles that are on the scene together, the flashing patterns, they create less of a distraction for other drivers on the road. I know personally in the past many years working the road, and lights, specifically drunk drivers, they'll get into almost a hypnotic stage, and many times I had to run out of the way to stop from getting killed. And these lights somehow alternate, so it's not as blinding or distractive and that type of thing. Our Rescue 131 truck, we got a new truck that's been delivered for the Rescue 131 unit. How old was the other one?
I think it was approximately 15 to 20 years old.
Yeah, and they get a lot of use. We went away from the diesel. The bodies on these things were just eaten alive. Of course, the engine lived forever, but these bodies with the salt and stuff that we have up here, it was just kind of embarrassing to be even driving that rusty old bucket. So I'm happy to replace that, and I think we'll be replacing another one soon, right?
There'll be another pickup truck being replaced.
Okay. The 131 unit is primarily called out for technical rescues to assist the departments or take the lead when other departments don't have the necessary equipment. One of the big ones we just had was working on the guys for Board of Light and Power, the contractors that in the, what is that, tunnel or?
Yeah, it was a drain pipe for Upco at Hoist Dam.
Just kind of explain that.
There was, the drain pipe is a very large diameter pipe. It needed to be painted inside with a specialty hazardous chemical paint. Upco cannot do that because it's a pretty niche process, so they hired a contractor. The contractor, without going into too many details, one of the employees down there did not have necessary PPE, was not able to get out of the pipe, and unfortunately passed away. So our Rescue 131 had to go into the pipe to rescue and pull him out, get him to the hospital, unfortunately.
One of them we got, the other, he unfortunately passed away. So they do a lot of specialty work, and in fact, we worked with Marquette City that also is trained in that specific type of thing, and it has, in anything like this, you try and figure out what went good and what went bad, and we find that we needed more training in this specific area, or I should say more people. So Marquette City will be training with us with that. Our special operations received a grant for new snowmobiles in 2026, so we'll have new rides out there. We got new body cameras in early, or we will have them in early 2026. What did we go with?
The official decision hasn't been made, decided to be safely removed.
Okay. And how old were the other ones? Did they?
Old.
We were real having trouble replacing them. And now, unfortunately, your word is no good as an officer. If you, with this generation, if it's not on video, it didn't happen. So it's so important for us to keep up to date with the current technology and have that available for us. Road patrol, and excuse me, I've been fighting this sinus thing for the last 3 weeks. So. Road patrol employees update. The sheriff's office has 3 new deputies from the last academy assigned to the road. 2 of them are completing their field officer training program at the end of this month and will be working the road. Earlier this year, the sheriff's office, we hired a full-time court security deputy, and recently a part-time court security deputy. We're pretty much up to staff. First time in I don't know how many years, probably 5, but we are down because we have the one officer with 2 officers injured.
We have two injured, 1 off on family medical leave, and then 3 that are currently going through the FTO. 2 that are graduating out of the FTO process the end of this month, and then the 3rd, we just recently hired him from another state. He'll be graduating out of the FTO in January.
So we've been down 6, and the officers have been really stepping up to fill in those gaps. Currently, the sheriff's office contracts with 3 different townships to provide police services, yourselves, Richmond Township and Tilden Township. We've obtained new radios for our corrections officers throughout the jail, and we're in the process of going with a new phone vendor, and that's basically the tablets that we have inside the jail. The ones we've had are probably 6 to 8 years old and aren't working, and there's a lot of new technology, and so that's yet to be funded. Within the next week we should know who we're going with. But these tablets we don't allow in-person visiting anymore, and we stopped that around the pandemic. It is so employee time consuming for these personal visits, and what these tablets, they're great because of the fact that grandma in California or another state or other people can get online and chat right with them. They have earphones, it's private conversation. And there's a slight cost, but we're allowing people, if they can't afford it, they can come in to the Marquette County Jail and use our facility, the TV and that type of thing to chat for free. Not many, I don't know, I think one county of the 83 is currently allowing people to come in and see. But like I said, it's, by the time you get that person, shake them down, put them in cuffs, take them to a room, shake it, it takes hours just for one person, and it's a long, tedious, and it's very dangerous too. So we've not going to change that. There's been some things from the ACLU, but because of the danger, sometimes to the prisoner, sometimes to the officers, we're not going to do that. Some things at the jail, my motel is very full. In fact, we're leasing space. We have been leasing space since last year. Here's some of the information. All the stats are from January 1st. Bookings, we've had 1,181 people booked in the jail. That's an average of just under 4 people per day. The average daily population is 111. At one time, we had 129 inmates. Our jail is at full capacity at 80. So we started contracting with other jails, county jails in the Upper Peninsula. We're currently using Iron County and Elgin County.
Iron County, Alger County, I think.
Soon to be Delta County. Homeless, unhoused daily, average 24 people per day that are homeless. We've had up to 32 people. We've seen a huge influx of in the last couple of years of the homeless who aren't from our county, but somehow ended up here and arrested. Boarded out daily, about 25 people boarded out on the average. Daily high was 38. In fact, I am going, when we find the space, and it's a slow process right now, but I'm going to be going in the near future for a new jail. And we're talking right now, so far this year, just under $300,000 it's costing us to lease space from the other counties. So you add that with the labor costs that we would save having the new jail. We figured out because of the design, a modular type system, you don't need as many employees. So with that type of jail, we'd save, I think they said, like $1.3 million a year. So between the two, you're talking $1.5 million a year that we could save by getting a jail that we've needed for many, many years. We do take federal prisoners. Most of the time when there is a trial, we just don't have the room for them. We usually don't house them unless now, if there's a federal trial at the federal courthouse, instead of them going back and forth, Chippewa, the Sioux, we will house them. We'll make room for them for that week-long trial. So it helps the feds out. We currently have 2 inmates that have been found incompetent to stand trial and awaiting a bed at the forensic center, and that's been for months. We have the mental illness in our jail. It's worse than I've ever seen. The average length of stay of felon is 37 and a misdemeanor is 8 days. The top 5 most common offenses in our jail population. Today it was 128 inmates, 97 males and 31 females. When I started years ago, we would maybe see 3 or 4 females in jail. Now the population is usually about a third of the population, mostly drugs, women on drugs. The 5 most common offenses, possession of meth, computers using to commit crime, sex crimes, or embezzlement, child abuse of commercial activity, assault, resisting, obstructing police, and then domestic violence. And that's kind of what's been going on with us. It's busy every day. There's something new and exciting every day. Any questions or comments? Or?
That's good information, Greg. A lot of things that people don't hear when, you know, they're doing their daily jobs or going to school or whatever. They have no idea what you're dealing with.
Yeah, but you know, the sheriff's, and I'm working as the chief in Chalkley, being a municipal police department, with the day-to-day activities, but when I became sheriff, it just flipped my world. We have so much going on. We're at the airport, we have court security, we have special operations, with search and rescue, and it just goes on, and every day, every weekend, there's some type of activity, be it the Noki or the Ore to Shore, or the we just had a marathon, which is a qualifier for the Boston, and all these events. A lot of times there's people that shouldn't be doing it that usually are hurt or have heart attacks or something like that. So where our search and rescue and our special operations are out there, and so we are busy all the time, and it's just constant. So thank you very much.
At the, go ahead, Dan.
I do have basically one thing to say and one question. Being one that rode many times on R52 and 131, I have to say it's nice to see a new unit in our county.
Yeah.
Well needed, well needed. And secondly, any ideas on the jail, whether you would, is it possible to add on, or are you looking at a whole new area, new facility?
We're looking at both, honestly. I personally don't think we can do it. We need 6 acres for what we need, and the location now, tearing down the old thing, and if you do that, where do you put the prisoners in the interim? But we've narrowed it down to 3 locations in the immediate area. The biggest problem here in Marquette County is water and sewage. That can take, probably 160 bed facility. We're guessing 160, 180 bed facility. And there's not, the issue with the West End isn't, they don't have the capacity for that type of sewage and water. So we're limited, and we're looking.
What are you thinking as far as the years out?
I realistically, I'd say 3 or 4. Yeah,
It's needed.
yeah, it is. It was a while ago, and what I want is to build for the future, or have the capacity to add on, so we're not in the same situation. When they built this jail, it was already too small for what they needed. There's some that say if you build it, they will come. You'll make that type of thing. But and the pendulum swings, back and forth. Right now, we're maxing it out, and it's been pretty level like that all this year and the last year, and I don't see anything changing in the near future.
That part of it's too bad.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you.
Yeah.
At last night's county commission meeting, the undersheriff gave a report like he usually does, and he was naming off a lot of those same statistics with 89 in the jail. That would have been August, September, and October he was talking about. But one of the commissioners asked about 131, and a lot of people didn't know, me included, of course. It's water rescues, he listed off, missing persons, extraction, of course you mentioned, and being there for the firefighters to either fill their tanks or to rescue them or get them oxygen or whatever they need.
Or fight the fire. They're all certified.
Sure, yeah. All the hazardous, with
Yeah.
chemical issues, confined space, as the lieutenant mentioned. And they're all volunteers. And that was the other thing he wanted to point out, that this is a genuinely unique group that,
They really are, and one thing that I'm very optimistic about, I just hired a deputy, and he just retired military, and he was on their, help me out, what's it called? Hazmat team for the state, the National Guard, and he knows everything and anything about hazmat, and so he's working for us, but I'm going to get him involved in the 131 with training and equipment, and because that every day we're getting more of the hazmat materials, and when it happens, it's really scary stuff. So to have someone of that expertise available for us, I'm really excited to get him on board with us.
any other questions for the sheriff? Great, thank you.
All right,
Totally
thank you very much.
valuable. Appreciate you both coming.
Thank you for the support.
Okay, so for the rest of community linkage, I have a few things I can share. I'm not gonna do a newscast, but I read an article about the ice storm in Petoskey and Alpena that happened, and because they talked about Menards, I thought I'd mention it. 10 to 15% of the red pine was lost in that ice storm, and they figure 3 to 5 years to replace all the trees, and then however long it would take to be able to harvest them. So that will impact, because we've been talking housing and everything, and it will impact prices of everything here, I'm sure. I just wanted to let you know that. Let's see. Homes, as far as the homes go, or I can give you an update at the next meeting. We're gonna have, our meeting was put off for Marquette Homes Now. But another article I read said that folks are staying in their homes because of the low mortgage that they have, which we've kind of already talked about. But when things fall through, people are losing their jobs, maybe because of IT. Now we've got purchase agreements that are canceled and fees that are lost, and the trickle down, inspection fees are lost. So there's more to it. We keep saying that in our housing meetings. There's more to it than just putting up a house. It impacts the whole county in multiple ways. The Social Security increase, for those of you who worry about that, which you guys don't, of course, yet, is 2.8%, which is pretty good. Property taxes will go up 2.7% this year. I thought that was kind of ironic. I gave you the county's report, that was last night. Some of the other things they talked about, remember I mentioned to you at the last meeting about CCI giving up some of that land to continue the easements for the trails in a lot of the townships in the county. The DNR had an article, and I didn't see it, but the chair was talking about closures on some of the DNR roads. So he was going to get a hold of them and find out if that impacts that 10,000 acres that CCI was giving up, and where that falls in the county. Bill Nordine, who's the county commissioner, is going to run for district court judge. That would be interesting for you to know. And I did have a meeting, I might have mentioned to you about the whole composting, recycling, and all the waste management with the county chair and one of the planners, the county administrator, I forget who all was there, to tell them that the materials management group that we're meeting in Escanaba, I gave them an update on that. And they kind of agreed that the planning department in the county would take on a lot of that responsibility. So I was glad to kind of get rid of that. But they are going to, we have a meeting, they asked for a materials management update. They're pulling the 6 of us together with county planning to give them a thorough update on what happens with that materials management group in Escanaba, where we are, because I posed to them about trying to get some carts for the communities that have curbside trash that don't have recycling yet, because because that's a mandate from the state in the next 2 years. That has to happen. If you have curbside trash pickup, you're gonna have to have curbside recycling. So the only way to really push that or help in that cause is to get carts for those people for their recycling. So the state has provided some money, and I've been getting zapped with emails this week. Eagle's got $6 million available for communities to use. So if we can get those carts, we can get more recycling, maybe get into the composting. And the whole purpose of all this, besides saving the environment, is to not raise the tipping fees. We know that they did go up July 1st of this year. They probably will go up again July 1st of next year. But right now, the recycling is costing the landfill about $100,000 year to date that they have to take out of those fees that we all pay in our trash. So I'm trying to keep the cost down for trash. There was a little bit of an increase that's in our budget this year. We talked about last week. So there's more to trash than what we think. And keeping it out of the landfill saves everybody a lot of money. So fortunately, this is shifting over to the county. So we don't have to deal with it quite as directly. But that materials management group is still, we're charged to do this for 5 years. So we still have to do that. That's all for this week. Anything you're hearing from the public? Anybody calling you, stopping you at the store? Any issues, neighbors?
So I have,
Sure.
I think I turned it on. It's on.
No, agree.
Oh, it's not on. Now it's on. So, 2 people have asked me, they observed 3 trash cans outside of 1 resident, and they asked me if they were paying more money than single residents, and I didn't know that. So, I think we've talked about that in the past, and I don't know if we want to talk about that in the future. But, 3 trash cans is certainly adding to our bill. And what are those 3 trash can households doing to pay their, quote, some people would say their fair share? So that's what I heard from 2 different people.
Okay. No recycling containers?
They didn't mention that, okay?
John?
This discussion was addressed by the board. I wish I could tell you how many years ago, but it was 2 or 3, 2 years ago. And at the time, we were providing garbage carts for every residential customer. And at the time, the board had to decide, do you charge by the cart or do you charge by the customer? And at that time, we didn't really know the significance of what the multiple carts would look like. That's my opinion. And the board chose to continue charging by the customer, not by the cart. At some point in the near future, I think you should at least consider it. I don't know what it's costing because each cart isn't an additional ton of waste that's costing us that much at the landfill. But it's worth discussing because those that put out a full cart every 2 weeks versus those that put out 3 carts every week, there's definitely a difference in what those households are doing. Granted, there's different sizes of households. You have rental units that have lots of college kids, I'm sure. You have large families, you have single retirees, they're all different. It's just what you think is more important. If you want to be completely fair, then it should be by the cart.
Randy?
Yes, I remember that discussion, and we did not close off that discussion about charging by the cart because we knew in the future this could be a problem. So we did say at the time we were going to go by the customer, but we would reassess it at a future date. So maybe that's next year.
Well, and we'll have to kind of see what the state's going to say too. Maybe I can get some of that information at our next materials management meeting. But if the recycling is required and people aren't doing it, that's going to take away whatever's in the trash. There's plastic in there. There's plastic bottles, milk jugs, whatever. There's a lot of plastic in there. We know there is. Or cardboard. Any kind of cardboard. Kleenex boxes, toilet paper rolls, paper towels, cereal boxes. All that stuff should be out of the trash. It's bulky, and maybe that's why they've got, especially if they have 5 kids or whatever. It's hard to say.
Hard to say.
But we might have to wait and see what the state's gonna require.
Something that needs to be addressed probably sooner than later, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on whose side you're on. So let's not let it get lost, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, I'm doing trash every week, so I'll drive you crazy with it. Anything else? Okay, move on to consider hiring a probationary firefighter, 8 on call, Christian Bilby. Right now, I guess he's gonna be working 2 hours a day through June. Do you know anything different, John, for our fire chief isn't here? That was the
I can only
information we
speak personally of what I know of the young man, and from that perspective, I would have a conflict of interest in recommending the hire. So I would refer or defer to the chief's recommendation in this case.
got. Okay.
And I do believe he's a good kid.
Questions?
I would move to accept the fire chief's recommendation.
Support.
Okay. Anything else?
Is he an intern right now?
Yes.
So that's a school requirement. So he would not be paid for those school hours? No? Yes?
He turned 18 recently, and the whole idea is to get him on the roster.
Yeah, so it's an internship with pay?
I
We don't know.
can't speak to that.
I guess you would want to clarify that with the internship agreement that's signed between the school and the fire department and the student. I can just say that I had interns and they were not paid. So, I don't know. I would just be careful with that to make sure it's clear.
That's not something we get involved in. I don't know if it's just between the fire chief and legal or.
At this point, he's asking to add the individual to their roster because he is old enough to participate.
You're talking 2 different things here. I mean, he's an intern. His intern hours may be through the school, and if he's accepted on the roster, then when they get a call, then he would be getting paid by the department.
I just think we want to be real clear, and Roger might end up being involved in that. I don't want to put anyone at risk here, the student or graduation or whatever. So it may be that it's just for off-school hours. Does that make sense? Yeah,
That's what I was saying.
yep, So I don't know.
I would suspect that this does not come up terribly often because a lot of kids don't turn 18 with this much of the school year left.
Yep,
So it's a little bit unique, but we can find that out from Dan and make sure we aren't creating any issues regarding his internship. I don't think that would be a reason why you would withhold adding him to the roster so he can participate in any calls. Because all of that's going to help with his training too. As an intern who does not drive, he had not been doing any ride-alongs aside from in the pickup truck with the chief. As an employee, paid on call, he can respond in any of the apparatus.
Okay.
And that's a pure liability issue.
Like any of the rest of them. Okay. Anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay. We can consider a little bit late, reappointments to the Marquette Area Wastewater Treatment Facility Advisory Board. Lenny is the primary on that, and John is the alternate, and their terms run September 30th. So we need to reappoint them. So they
I'll
can-
move to reappoint Lenny, their Superintendent of Public Works, Lenny Bodinas as our primary wastewater advisory board rep, and the manager, John Kangas, as the alternate.
Okay. Questions?
I think that's a 3 or 4 year term, John, something like that. I don't know. Something like that. I'll
I
find
don't
out.
have to cover for Lenny very often, so I'm not sure.
I'll have the correct, well, you have it too.
I think it's every year.
No, it's not every year. It's like
3 years?
3 years, I think, yeah.
I take your word for it, just seems like it's frequent. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Renovari Development Update. It's all to you, Mr. Kangas.
Okay. I did connect with Mitch last week, and the first time I attempted to reach him was Wednesday, I believe, and he had not even been back to his office yet after being overseas for a couple of weeks prior to that. And when he was gone, he had assumed that all of his funding was gonna fall into place and they would own a 5-acre parcel in the township when he returned. Unfortunately, as things go sometimes, the bank's taking longer than he had hoped. There's $150,000 sitting at the title company in our name, and he is going through the construction loan process for the remainder of it as we speak. And he said at that time, which was a week ago, 15 days to a maximum of 45 days to get through the banking part of it. So I guess that's what you should be aware of. If you're interested, he has no issue in having the title company release that 150, and then we have to redo some of the paperwork because that's another down payment. I don't have an issue with it staying there, because if something does fall through, then we're not cutting a check for 150,000. The title company can send it back to him if this doesn't happen. But if there's concerns that you have regarding how this seems to drag out again, we all anticipate some of this. It seems like we're getting all of the examples this time. I guess now would be the time to speak about it. The attorney has the signed deed from both parties and will not record it until we receive full payment.
Questions?
I, for one, just want it over with. This thing has been dragging and dragging and dragging. I'm so tired of it. I want it
Welcome to
signed,
government,
sealed, and
right?
delivered. Give us
I
our
agree.
money.
I agree. We have a project that's going to get paved on Monday, next week. I'm ruining my report, but that project was in design for 3 years. By the time it got out to bid, the cost had more than doubled to the point where we had to reduce the scope by 25%. It's just unfortunate that that's how these things go sometimes. I agree. I'd love to see them doing the clearing they need to, starting to strip their topsoil, do the mass grading they need to, get prepared for their utilities. We don't have final engineering drawings or permits yet, but that doesn't mean they can't get some of that other stuff done in the meantime. And keep in mind, to do final engineering drawings from a site plan process, that can be weeks worth of work, especially if it's a one-man engineering shop. So, takes time. My guess is you're not going to see any occupied homes before the end of next construction season. I just don't see that being possible at this point.
We've had such a nice fall that they could have been doing some site prep work.
They still could. From what I understand,
It's gonna be a new color here pretty soon.
their excavating contractor is from right down the hill, has dealt with our conditions longer than I've been around. I have faith that they'll figure out what the right thing to do is when they get the green light. But you need to be aware of these things in case you have concerns that we need to be bringing to them beyond, let's go.
Yeah, it's not government dragging its feet this time. We've done everything that they've asked. We've given, how many extensions now? 3, 4, 5? I don't know how many communities would do this, but we're just sitting here being patient. Ready for it to be.
I think we're going to see success on this project quicker than we would have had this current team not linked up.
Oh, absolutely. They wouldn't be,
It would have been dead.
yeah. This wouldn't be going through without them.
Yeah, we already voted no once. Okay, any questions for John? Are
Just
we,
keep us in the loop.
are we good with going on, just doing what we're doing?
Well,
Have to be.
well, we've done everything we can, we just need the money, and it's done, so.
Is everyone comfortable leaving that first 150 with the title company and then just ask for
Yeah, I'd rather
the full
that.
amount at one time?
Do you want a motion for that, or are you comfortable with consensus?
As long as I didn't see any opposition to it, so that's enough for me.
Okay.
I don't think that we would be making a plan for how that money gets spent until we have it all anyway. And there's kind of an understanding of what it was intended for, so.
That was previous boards though too, so this board could decide something different.
And it wasn't with formal motion either that I'm aware of.
Well, maybe the next meeting, we meet again on the 19th, maybe we'll have something, some kind of an update in 2 weeks.
I know Mitch would like to get going too.
Sure. You better hurry up if he's getting his wood from Menards, because the price is gonna go up. Okay, we don't need a motion then, we're good on that. Any planning commission update, Linda?
I can share a little bit from the minutes. The capital improvement plan is in, we should be seeing the draft sections 1 through 4. I think we have till the end of this year to have it finalized.
You mean the
Master
master
plan?
plan?
Or the master plan, yeah. Really, I'm looking at the wrong thing. The capital improvement plan was provided to the planning commission, and they, I'm sure, agreed with everything people were asking for. And they also looked at the site plan revision for the retail development Shops of Marquette East, which is north of the Texas Roadhouse. So my guess is, and it's a guess, that we'll see some more retail businesses in our township. We don't know who they are, though. It's a surprise.
Is that gonna be where Paul Smith's property is, or just straight behind him?
I don't know. It
Directly
said,
behind Texas Roadhouse. That site has been prepped. There's no trees on it, by the way. I heard some rumblings that they're cutting down a bunch of trees. It's built on 100 feet of fill. There hasn't been time for trees to grow there yet. So were there trees cut down a decade ago to move all the fill from the Meyer site to where it is now? Now, maybe not a decade ago, but it's been a while. Just to clear the air on some of that. And then the other thing is about these developments. There seems to be an impression that the township decides what development is coming to the community. I think you all know.
It's you.
It's definitely not me. It's the developer that chooses to take the risk based on whatever factors they have, whether or not they develop property that they own or intend to purchase. Some people think that it's this group or the planning commission that decides, we're gonna get an Olive Garden, we're gonna get 10 more banks, or whatever the controversial subject is of the day. It's the developers that come to us seeking approval for compliance with our ordinances, period. And I think that's a good learning lesson for the public, for anyone that's willing to listen.
Yep, it's not up to us. A lot of development doesn't even come to us, you know, this is different with Renovari because it's our property. But most everything just goes to planning commission and that's it. We don't know about it until it's in the paper.
And the planning commission doesn't necessarily know what's going there. So
yeah.
to say, oh, the planning commissioners aren't telling us, that's not true. We don't.
The developer chooses when they release the information that they want to release. Sometimes we know, but we're not allowed to say. In this case, we have no idea what type of retail is going into this building.
So that's it. The planning commission will only meet one time in November, and that will be a week from today, and one time in December.
So you said, did you say chapters 1 through 4 of the master plan?
That's what it said, for review. So I do know there's a deadline, and I do know that it's been a little slower than we hoped for, but there'll be a
Okay.
public hearing, is my understanding. So the public can know what the master plan says, and it's a good thing to know what master plans say. Master plans are, a lot of the input comes from the residents and the community, the huge community, not just the people who live in Marquette Township. So, and it's good to read master plans.
Okay. Anything else planning wise? Okay. Any public, anybody want to ask questions or tell us why you're here? Or how your Halloween was? Or
We're here for our political science class.
Oh, I thought you were here to volunteer.
did you learn anything? Do you feel enlightened? Did we share enough? You can always call any of your elected officials and ask questions. Even if it's, not related to school and something that's bothering your mother or whatever, doesn't matter. You can just, we're here. We're not separate, and that, there's that misnomer.
And she's at extension.
Actually, you start with the office. Okay, any announcements board-wise? Anything for you, Randy? You didn't have an election.
No, people came, but there was no election here.
County clerk was off from the meeting last night. She was working.
Yeah, there was a few elections in the county, but nothing for us. Next year, we could have 3. Like I said, we could have one in May, depending on what Market Area Public Schools decides to do with their millage request. Otherwise, we have the August primary and the November midterm that are scheduled. I'll know by February if Market Area Public Schools is going to try for a May election.
They got a lot of good feedback. We've got, 70% of everybody that responded said that they'd go with the 6 million or whatever it was.
So we'll see. I'll know by February, so we'll know then.
Okay. The treatment facility board is 3 years.
It is? Okay.
Yeah. I did look just to make sure. Manager's report.
Couple of updates for you, and the majority of them are related to the road commission. And I wish I could tell you that the extra $4 million they're giving is going to all be spent in Marquette Township, but they have no idea how they can spend it yet. So I think there's a difference in opinion between what road agencies call local roads versus what elected officials in Lansing call local roads. According to Act 51, a local road is not a county primary road. But can they spend this local road money on county primaries? That's part of what they have to figure out. So they're waiting on some guidance from the Department of Treasury, I believe. In the meantime, there was some emergency funding awarded for a short piece of Commerce Drive, right out here, the worst piece between Venture and the fire department parking lot, and a little piece of the bike path on Werner that's been gravel for a year since that event happened. That's being bid this month through MDOT, and we will not see that happen until next year. The good news is the Road Commission is feeling pretty confident that they will be awarded Category F funding for all of Commerce Drive in December. They'll have to do this for them. Keep your fingers crossed. It would mean 2027 construction. This is how it works. As soon as you apply for grant money, you gotta add at least a year or two. It's just, unfortunately. They weren't going to be awarded the money last year for 2026 construction because they already had a 2-point deduction for having received funding for Cherry Creek Road, which was paid this year. It's all about getting the points. And at least they can get grant money still, something that we have a hard time getting. Unless it's really unique. Backyard Creek, the last culvert, I believe, went in today. I did not go down there. They have the restoration to do on that, and they will be paving all 3 culvert locations next Monday, and I'm told that is the paving contractor's last job for the year. So the plant will be shut down by deer season like they always try for. Giving Tree. We haven't really done a whole lot for the community here during the holidays in the past, or at least in my time here, and it was suggested right about in this area a couple weeks ago that maybe we should consider doing that given everything that's going on in the country. So United Way is going to bring us some gift tags that have the information written right down on them. Our customers, our employees, any of you can choose one off of the tree, fulfill it, and then United Way will come and pick it up and get it to whoever the needy family is in the community. And my understanding is this is true needs versus a whole bunch of wants like Nintendo or whatever. So I think it'll be a good thing for us to maybe start a tradition doing that here.
And to add that on, the community residents can come too and get a gift tag, correct?
Yep, the idea is we're going to put it right by where they come and pay their bills and hope that they'll have just a little bit extra for the community as well.
This must have been your doing.
Yes.
All right, good.
And I will say, yeah, it's true needs, the majority, at least what's come across my desk so far. Most of what the kids are asking for is a blanket or boots or socks, coat. Not a whole lot of toys.
So you have specific families that are, is what he's talking about,
Yeah.
right? That you know that if I buy a pair of boots, they'll go to a certain family. Okay.
Yeah, and if it's clothing, it's going to include the size, I'm assuming, and all that, so they're not getting a...
Gender, size.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so it definitely gets used.
So somebody like me, if I was the person in need, wouldn't get a pair of size 12 pink moon boots.
It'd be very
You'd look
specific.
good in them, but no, you wouldn't.
Well, we wouldn't see them under the desk anyway. Good. When does that happen then? This week yet?
Mhm.
Or-
I
Friday,
think we're getting, yeah,
Friday.
we will be getting the first batch of slips this week.
Okay.
And hopefully we'll see some good holiday spirit.
Awesome. Good idea. Anything else to share on that?
Thanks for doing
Not up to me. It's all up to us. Okay, you wanna check our motions, Mr. Clerk?
Okay, the first motion was the consent agenda as presented, and that was approved. The second motion was to approve the regular agenda as amended. We took 8A and 8C off, that was approved. Third motion was to approve the probationary firefighter, and that was approved. And the fourth motion was to reappoint our reps to the wastewater treatment advisory board, and that was approved.
Okay, so our next meeting, we'll have Detective Lieutenant Tim Scholander here from UPSET to give us his annual report. Any other comments from the board?
Yes, I have one. I had a resident call today, and we went over our budget here, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and we've kind of got it nailed down now, but a resident called me today. They were concerned. they are with the Bridge Club group, and they rent our facility, I don't know, 2 or 3 days or 4 days for their tournament. And with our increase in fees, I think it was going to up for $300 or $400. And they were concerned about that because they're a nonprofit group, and they felt that that was sort of unreasonable. And I said, well, I will pass it along to the board and see what their thoughts are. I said, that's all I can do. So,
John?
Before we get too excited about a number that sounds high, let's confirm what the real number is going to be based on what they paid in the past and what they will pay now. Because if the rate for the first 2 hours goes from $80 to $100, I'm not sure that the math adds up, unless it's for the duration of 3 full days, and then it might get close, but I'd like to do the math and make sure that's true before we overreact.
yeah, and I just said I would pass this along to the board, and I didn't want to really blindside John, but I just said I'd just pass your concern along and see where it goes, and, you know, see if, you know, the board wants to address it. I know cost have went up, and, you know, they do take up the facility for 3 days. We can't rent it, so, it is what it is. So I'm just bringing that out, and like our manager said, maybe it isn't a big increase when you look at the cost.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure how it's currently calculated, so let's just verify that before.
Yeah, and we have time yet because our budget won't be approved till early December.
Yeah,
In the fee schedule, it's probably in the fee schedule, I'm sure.
it is. The other thing I should probably say while we're on this subject, we hear the request a lot. We're nonprofit, can we get it for free? If we did that, it would never be available for the public to rent. There are so many nonprofits looking for space at little to no cost, and it's supposed to be a community room. It can't be the room that's used by every nonprofit in the county for free. And I think that decision was made long before I came. So, and it's not uncommon for facilities like that. It's every municipal government has that request.
And to go further on, Manager Kangas, we've come to the policy of our board, if it's a township benefit for, like we do for like anything in the township, we usually have the facility, we can either reduce the cost or it's for free if it's a township benefit for either our staff or our residents. And that's what our policy's been for, since that room's been built, so.
And I think that's pretty fair, and it's very limited, the times where the facility is provided for free. Getting state level officials here, those are times where it happens, and those normally are for events open to the public, or at least elected officials that represent all of the local communities, so.
Well, we're not making a profit on this either, it's just to cover our costs.
100% true. There's also a reason why we collected a cleaning deposit. There's plenty of times where we have to keep some of that because it goes above and beyond what we normally pay our staff to take care of after a rental, so.
Okay,
That's all I have.
good.
So I have 2 questions, John, probably for you. Warner Street, new, I'll call it a duplex going in. They tore up the road. Is that not gonna get fixed?
I don't know the schedule on that, but I have to assume that they will be paving that at least the width of the full lane on that side.
On Monday.
That's unrelated to our project. I can't tell
Okay.
you their schedule.
But if they close the plant down, maybe that doesn't relate. Maybe I just thought that,
Well, it's again a road that we don't own,
correct.
so they have to answer to the road commission.
Okay. So this is probably a road commission question too. When are they gonna open that roundabout on Venture?
I would
Which-
say there will be a soft opening on that very soon.
And who's going to take care of that, roundabout? Do we have to put lights up there? Do we have to take care of the,
We don't own the roads.
so we don't have to put lights up?
We don't have to. But we do in certain cases.
Okay, and then the, flowering plants, whatever.
Sounds like another project maybe the DDA might want to consider.
Okay, I mean, I'm thinking outside here, like,
Great idea.
really?
It's a great idea. I unfortunately think that they seeded and mulch blanketed the whole island, so we'll have to start over as far as planting anything goes there, but
And maybe the VA's plan is to take care of that.
that I do not know.
So
They
they-
don't talk to
they
us a
haven't-
whole lot,
yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, just so the residents know, they're not telling us or asking or sharing or however that works, I'm not sure.
But,
Yeah.
That's, we don't have to.
They've been cooperative, just not as forthcoming as maybe we're used to in dealing with development in our community.
So, yeah, I'll be thankful, I and some other people, when that is open again. It will take people who maybe aren't as comfortable driving on US 41 at 4 o'clock in the afternoon when there's lots of traffic back behind and,
Well, they said there were 600 cars a day on that, just on this little road. That's a
Yeah.
lot.
and maybe we'll get a little side into Super One.
I don't know. So, but-
One more thing with,
Yes, sir.
so, going back to the budget, we did have a consensus budget that we came to. Very minimal increases for utilities. I think 1% for water, which is 9 cents per 1,000 gallons. 2 or 3% for wastewater, which I think is like, what, 25 cents, John, something like that? It's very per 1,000 gallons, and garbage is going up 50 cents. So I think the board, again, has done a good job this year of trying to keep the cost reasonable with our utilities moving forward, so. It's just, and I haven't gotten those recordings up yet, but they will be up on our YouTube page. There was no video with them, it'll just be a recording, but you can listen to our discussions on that. But again, very minimal increases, so I think that's good for our residents. When some places are going way high, so.
Okay. Any other comments? Dan?
I just wanted to say that I had a personal situation with the County Road Commission. I've got a retention on my property that they have agreed to dig out every year, and they've subcontracted that labor out in the past 20 years. And this year and last year, they did it through themselves to save themselves some money, and did a fantastic job. Just, I can't say enough of how good of a job they did. Very courteous, kind, caring about the environment, everything else with it. And I did pass that on to Joe DeRocha, and he was going to pass it on from there. But I just wanted to publicly say that they did a great job.
I do have it on my notes to take to the next commission meeting. I think it's Monday. It's either next Monday or the Monday after, because I usually go to those.
Yeah.
So I was gonna tell him.
They went over and above.
What else? Anything?
Make a motion to adjourn.
You gotta wait, no, that's
No,
not.
Carl was waiting.
No, that's not right. He did not get recognized.
You can. You don't have to have a motion.
Get to the meeting?
So who's gonna
Oh my
second?
gosh.
Second.
Damned if I'm gonna second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. 6:44.